Hey guys, how are you? It's your host Purple Sparkle. What's up? Hey, welcome. In my email from justice.gov, there is an immediate press release for Thursday, December 1st, 2022. This number is 22-1282 for the press release number. The topics is Indian Country Law and Justice. The components are Office of Associate Attorney General, Office of Attorney General, Office of Tribal Justice. It's kind of a long one, so buckle up. Okay, the FBI and Bureau of Indian Affairs sign agreement to improve law enforcement in Indian Country. During remarks at the 2022 White House Tribal Nations Summit today, Attorney General Merrick B. Garland announced that the FBI and the Bureau of Indian Affairs, the BIA, is how we call it, signed an agreement to establish guidelines to provide for an effective and efficient administration of criminal investigation in Indian Country. This is the first update since the early 1990s to a memorandum of understanding between the agencies. The announcement is being discussed during a panel featuring Secretary of Interior Deb Haaland and the Associate Attorney General Vanita Gupta at the summit. The summit provides an opportunity for the administration and tribal leaders from the 574 federally recognized tribes to discuss ways for the federal government can investigate and strengthen nation-to-nation relationships, as well as ensure the progress in the Indian countries to ensure for years to come. This agreement is a crucial step to advancing public safety for American Indians and Alaskan Native communities, said the Associate Attorney General Vanita Gupta. Continues by saying the Department of Justice is committed to working with the Department of Interior to investigate Indian country crimes, including reports of missing or murdered Indigenous people, quickly, effectively, and respectfully. We are grateful to the tribes that provided input into this new policy. The FBI is committed to ongoing and continued collaborations with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. The FBI Director, Christopher Wray, said the FBI has a crucial role in successfully addressing the matters on in the nation's Indian countries, communities, and this updated MOU affirms our dedication to the mission of protecting all Americans. The FBI will not waver in its support of our tribal law enforcement agency partners and our coordination with the Bureau of Indian Affairs. The interagency coordination is absolutely critical given the complexities of jurisdiction in tribal communities. This agreement supports in all of government approach to addressing federal responsibilities and the tribal needs in Indian country, said the Assistant General Secretary Brian Newland for Indian Affairs. All federal agencies share a treaty and the trust responsibility to protect tribal sovereignty and revitalize tribal communities. This partnership will further support our efforts to keep Native people safe in their homes and communities. Under the agreement, the BIA, Office of Justice Services, and the FBI will cooperate on investigations and share information and investigation reports. The agencies will also establish written guidelines outlining jurisdiction and investigative rules and responsibilities for the investigators from the BIA, FBI, and tribal law enforcement agencies. The agreement also requires that all BIA, FBI, and tribal law enforcement officers receive training regarding trauma-informed, culturally responsive investigative approaches. That's really good news. I'm in my 40s and I could tell you that needed work 20 years ago. That's good news. Okay. This agreement will support the the unified response to the missing and murdered Indigenous peoples crisis. And the Missing and Murdered Unit launches by launched by Secretary Haaland. It defines responsibilities for the FBI, the BIA, and tribal investigators to ensure that the missing person cases are entered into the National Crimes Information Center, National Incident-Based Reporting System, oh my god, and other appropriate federal criminal databases, and the DNA is submitted to the National Missing Persons DNA database when appropriate and available. Holy Jesus, this is huge. The agreement also specifies that the FBI will take an initial primary role in the investigation of the BIA or tribal law enforcement officer involved shootings and in custody death incidences. That happens more than I like to admit. The BIA will concurrently conduct separate internal and administrative investigations of any BIA or tribal law enforcement officer involved shootings and in custody death incidences. Now the mission statement. The mission of the BIA Office of Justice services is to uphold tribal sovereignty and provide for the safety of Indian communities by ensuring the protection of life and property, enforcing laws, maintaining justice and order, and by ensuring the sentenced American Indian offenders are confined in safe, secure, and humane environments. I think that goes back to Lapeer. Ensuring public safety and justice is arguably the most fundamental of the government services provided in tribal communities. The mission of the Department of Justice is to uphold the rule of law, to keep our country safe, and to protect civil rights. Read more about the department's work to strengthen public safety in American Indian and Alaska Native communities here. Oh, this is really good news. And what I've got it from is justice.gov. This is huge. Really good news. All right. Well, thank you for your time, guys. I am going to have to put this in an archive. Let me make it unread. I'm going to slide this bad boy into archive. That is extremely good news. Still haven't heard on the final ruling yet for Haaland versus Brackeen and the ICWA. I do hope that they do uphold ICWA. If it's not, I'm sorry. I haven't scripted this, so you're hearing all off cuff, all of my natural idiosyncrasies. Plainly, I hide nothing from you. Really, George? Is that how you feel? Yeah. There's George, guys. Look at his markings. Isn't he beautiful? He has a twin sister, and her name's Murbel. Because I don't think I could get her to come. She came to Mur, and she came to Bell, and so her name became Murbel. I was gonna name her. I had my son's father had a great uncle and a great aunt was George or Murbel. So I was gonna just honorary, but that didn't go like that. Whatever. Ooh, I earned 1 cent, 3 cent, 1 cent. Ooh, Cash App making money. I went on a couple of job interviews recently, and I haven't gotten any callbacks. As a matter of fact, the new conglomerate way that they do things, I applied for because I need a job. Like, who doesn't? So I went to box stores for retail. It's seasonal, right? So it's pretty easy getting a job right now. It's walk on for the most part, or that's what I thought. But it turns out I have all this experience because I've been doing retail or food for 20 years. So now they're super picky. And anyways, my issue is the fifth dimension is now. I'm sorry. I'm scattered brain today. I apologize. My issue is for example, if you apply at Kohl's and they give you an interview, see, and there's Zach. Him's nickname is Floofy because him's got the fuzz. Him's a Floofy kitty. And So they said, yeah, we'll schedule you an interview. Go ahead and set it up. So I set up the interview. And as soon as I set up the interview, then I got some weird kickback email saying that the interview's been canceled. But I said I worked retail as a manager. Sometimes we have our own dashboard that tracks our performances and scheduling the interviews and so forth. And the only way that we can move forward with specific goals is if we go ahead and cancel that interview because you've already confirmed that you were going to be there. So it can get confusing. And then sometimes they cancel the interview anyway, and they don't want you to show up. So I showed up, and I had a call. I called them because I don't understand. Maybe it's so there's a concrete that sets faster in the cold weather, like so much faster in the cold weather, and they use it a lot here in Colorado. And I didn't realize that there was going to be construction on the bus line. And this is important to the interview because all of the detours, it made me like almost an hour late. I had to call them at the downtown transfer center, like, I have a job interview with you in 15 minutes, and I can guarantee you that with all this construction and the confusion, because the bus stops aren't marked clearly, now that we had to move them for the construction, right, they weren't marked, so I was lost. For the lack of better words, I was temporarily lost and discombobulated. I had no idea where I was, and then the bus people didn't know, like the drivers didn't know where it was. It was kind of a oh crap moment. And it was like 25 of us who trying to get on the next bus to go to that general area. So it was a minor cluster. Just gonna leave it at that. So I had to call them, like, I didn't realize that it was going to be such a hassle, and I'm wasting your time. I'm so sorry. I'll be there as soon as possible, blah, blah, blah. And they were gracious when I finally arrived. But he says, yeah, you nailed your interview. You have more than enough experience. We'll be happy to have you. But you're going to be waiting for a welcome aboard email. And I have been all over, I tell you, my email for the last 3 days. And nothing yet. So I'm getting a little antsy. So I've started to apply at other jobs because I don't think that bodes well at all. To be honest. Half tempted to do the customary follow-up. You know what I'm saying? Hi, how are you? Thank you for the interview. I apologized profusely. It was like 3 times I apologized. I am so sorry. I am so sorry. And I was late, but thank you for allowing me to call and work with you. I appreciate that. I just checked again. Nothing. This is kind of this really brings, for me at least, full circle how they're saying nobody wants to work. I showed up. I wanted to work. I interviewed. I maintained communication. I have the experience. I'm right here. What are you talking about? Nobody. I'm a somebody. So I think what really is going on is how the conglomerates are actually trying to say, we want the top cream of the crop available positions, so if they apply, we will take them over you. And the system's really unfair. I'm not gonna lie to you, it just seems ridiculously unfair. You know how that they have the whole cancel culture in the working society and whatever. I mean, I'm struggling to pay my rent, so I'm a little hesitant to keeping like this. I don't like asking for help or having other people like pay my rent. I mean, I'm in my 40s. I should be able to do this by myself. I did actually This is a really shit way to have a video. I'm gonna go back and redo it, I suppose. Probably for the best, huh? Let's go up here. Reset this up. FBI. Okay, well, I guess you just might get the raw end of the deal here, and, well, that sounds really negative. I don't mean it as negative as it sounds. Ooh! Group homeowner sentenced to $1 million in Medicare fraud schemes. A Texas married couple has been sentenced for a $1 million fraud schemes, including violations of federal anti-kickback statute. Who? The FBI caught their man. Good job, FBI. I archived it, but I put it in the FBI, so you should be able to recall it. But I didn't. This is weird. I guess I owe you more of a explanation to why I'm acting like I have ADD. There was a severe wind advisory last night that came through Fort Collins, and it's still in effect, and it's supposed to be in effect till, I think, 5 tonight? Anywho, the roof of my apartment complex, it sounded like it was going to be ripped off of my apartment. It was so scary, in fact, that my dog was whimpering and insisted on sleeping with me. Hey, oh, it's gonna fall. Oh! Yep. Kitties, what are you doing?